folks, welcome back to the Dice Tower. We are doing our bottom 5 post-apocalyptic games. I'm Sam.
JT.
This was a category that was proffered to us by one of our audience, listeners, watchers, whatever you want to call them, that over on the flip side. So we said, hey, why not?
Sure.
We've been doing a lot of year-based lists of late, and so we're going to mix it up a little bit now and do our post-apocalyptic games. And this is our bottom 5, numbers 10 through 6. What do you think? Was this an easy list to make or not?
It was a pretty easy list to make. There's things on there that I didn't, when I went to search it, there was things on there that I didn't think of as post-apocalyptic, and then there was games that I think were missed. But really, going through all of them on there, it's not a game type that I play a lot, or I feel like I play a lot. But at the same time, it was like, oh, I want to play that game. Oh, I want to play that game. Oh, I really like that game. Oh, I want to play that game.
Yeah.
Like the games that are in the theme, there's
really
cool.
A
lot of really cool.
It's a cool
ones.
theme to kind of wrap your head around, right?
Yeah. So it was actually kind of hard to narrow it down to 10. Because there's a lot that sit right in the same spot. So
yep, I'm about the same way. I think I had about 20 games that I put on my short list, something like that, and narrowing it down to 10 was not difficult, but it required a little bit of extra thought.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Yep.
All right, well, let's get to it. This is our bottom 5 post-apocalyptic games. Let's hit it. All right, my number 10 is a game that was put out by Portal Games, Nero Shim Hex. Nero Shim Hex. Have you ever played this one?
My number 10 is Nero Shim Hex.
Really?
Yeah. There you go.
That's funny. All right, cool.
I kind of had to make the list.
Doubling up. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the tile placement here.
Yeah, such an interesting concept. And facing and
facing
movement.
super matters. And I love tile placement as a mechanism anyway, but placing them in the right direction so that they're going to be very effective for you, that's super, super cool. And I love how each faction has their own little, kind of ace cards up their sleeve as far as what they can do. Loved everything about this game. Really enjoyed it a lot. What do you think?
Yeah,
I mean,
same thing. It's very cool. Just having the different abilities, the abilities to move, and the game itself. For those of you that don't know, there's a little hexagonal grid, or there's a little grid made of hexes, and it's not a very big grid.
No.
And basically, you have to put your base in that grid. And what is it? It's probably 1, 2. Maybe 5 or 6 from top to bottom. I mean, it's not very far, but you have to put your base on there, and you got to put the enemy's base on there, and then you're just filling it up with units. And everything else, and
everything fires off at either 3, 2, or 1 for speed,
or if and that has to be triggered by a battle, or if the board fills up. It is a really cool, but your guys are you put a guy here and he's facing that way to do max damage to the enemy's base, and so he puts a little guy behind your guy to shoot him in the back, and
before he can fire
off with a faster initiative, and you're just like no, or you put a medic there that no matter what takes the first damage, that whatever. It's just this crazy little puzzle.
Yep.
There's actually, I think they're coming out on Steam with a version of this.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm pretty interested to see that when it comes out. It's not out yet, I don't believe. But yeah, it's just
I know there used to be an app for it. I know I used to have the app on my phone.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out and see if it's on my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a fun little game. It's
super
fun, crazy.
Very well done. Well, that was quick for number 10.
Yeah, well, let's cross over on this one, too. It won't be on this one.
I don't know about this one. I'm assuming that we're going to have some more crossovers over the course of the list. I think
as
so.
Many as you might think.
I think
unfortunately.
So. It depends on how we define post-apocalyptic.
This was a tough list, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how that is. But anyway, okay, my number 9 is a dice-chucking game called Thunder Road Vendetta. Thunder Road Vendetta. This is by Restoration Games. It is basically Mad Max without the IP of Mad Max.
This is such a cool list.
Yeah, it is. It's such a fun game. And this is, maybe Mad Max isn't the right thing. We're talking about, when I say Mad Max, I'm talking about like the first one, or maybe even Fury Road, where there's a whole lot of vehicles and there's a whole lot of explosions. But this is probably more like a Death Race 2000 or something like that. But you cannot come into this game expecting to have a superior strategy. The dice will not allow you to do that. And the cinematic nature of what those dice will do to you is so enjoyable, you won't care. You won't care at all. You will have so much fun watching your team get obliterated. You won't care at all. And that's how this game is. There are cars ramming into other cars. There's cars ramming into cars and throwing them into the rocks. And there's helicopters blowing up cars. There's so much cool stuff about this game. And that's why it had to be on this list. My number 9, Thunder Road Vendetta.
That's so cool. I knew that was going to be on your list.
Yeah.
Number 9, that's the best place for it, because my number 9 is the other Death Race.
Oh, and I played this one
Death Roads
too.
All Stars.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
From the Knights of Unity. Death Roads All Stars is a little less chaotic. It's a little more controlled.
Yep.
You're getting your vehicle. You're picking your weapons for the front. You're picking your weapons for the side of your vehicle. You're picking your weapons for the back of your vehicle. And you're racing up a road, oil slicking and fireballing and missiling until the other people are dead or until you win the race. And there's just all these mechanics. Stuff gets in your way. Lanes get blocked. You have to move out of the way. Lanes get attacked, or if you get pushed off the back of the board because you're going too slow, different things happen. Like, it's just constant, just racing and shooting and attacking. And it's almost just as chaotic as the other one, although on a little bit...
You have more control.
Yeah, on a little bit different scale, but same type of game. Well, not same type of game, but same theme of a game for sure.
No,
so.
it's very similar, but I think that's the main thing. With Thunder Road Vendetta, you have a little bit of control and a lot of chaos.
Yep.
With Death Roads All-Stars, you have a little bit more control with a little bit less chaos.
Yep, and you all have asymmetric drivers
Yep.
with your cars, and your cars have different decks they start with, so they have asymmetric abilities and speeds and brakes and health and all that good stuff.
Did I tell you I backed the Maximum Chrome Edition and
I knew you should.
Kickstarter?
That's what I say. I knew you should.
I got everything coming, so
Nice.
we're gonna give away or do something with the base game that I have now. But
Perfect.
anyway, that's a good pick as well.
My number 9, Death Roads All Stars.
Yep. Good pick.
We'll call that a crossover half.
All right, my number 8 is by a company called Mythic Games, and it happens in the frozen tundra of a post-apocalyptic world, and it is called Steam Watchers. Now, this one made the bottom half of my list because there are 7 other games that I like better than it. Okay, so that's super explanatory, right? This game is like super cutthroat.
Yes.
Super cutthroat.
Extreme cutthroat.
It's not only the rich get richer, it's also at the very same time the poor get poorer.
Yeah.
So there is all of that going on, and you can have somebody attack you that you didn't know that they were able to attack you at almost any given point in time, and it comes out of nowhere. You could be sitting pretty, and then at the end of that round, you're decimated.
Yep.
And it is such a cutthroat game, but it's such a beautiful game.
It is a beautiful game.
I love how different all of the asymmetric factions are.
I like the mechanics. It has such good mechanics.
It does. Yeah. It does. It has so many good things about it. It's such a great design. I usually really don't like such cutthroat games, but this one I give it a pass because I just enjoy playing it that much. Has such a high toy factor to it as well. Such a great game. I really enjoy it a lot. That's my number, what is it, 8?
Number 8.
Number 8, Steam Watchers.
This one got pushed off by Nero Shim Hex for me.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All right. But I think it's such a beautiful game. I really love the map. It is super cutthroat, but
Yes.
the mechanics are so freaking good.
Yeah.
They're so fun.
I agree.
But anyways, all right, on to my number 8. My number 8 is a lane battling card game where water is king. Water is how you do all of your actions. It's a game called Radlands. In Radlands, you have this crazy, almost Borderlands type of art, and it's very colorful and very, what is the word? Like, I don't know. It's just super splashed with color.
Psychedelic.
Yeah, almost like, that's the right word, psychedelic. But you have 3 bases, and your 3 bases have special powers, and you're trying to put cards in front of them to protect them, and you're paying water to do your actions. And it's basically just a lane battler back. The cards are really cool. The way they attack are really cool. There's just a lot of different things going on. There's like a time bomb. There's like special cards you can do that you put on the side, and it takes like 3 or 4 turns before they'll fire off, and then they're really nasty.
Yep.
Just all these kind of things. And it's just a really cool game. It's got really cool art, and it's super fun lane battler. So
I've never played Radlands before. I think I've watched it being played. I think Z grabbed it and did all the playing and review for it back in the day. But so I don't think I've ever really played it. I may have played it once or twice while he was playing it, getting ready.
My eldest son taught it to me a couple of years ago when it first came out, and he got the big everything to it.
Yeah.
And then when Skyrise came out from Roxley Games, because this is Roxley Games, when Skyrise came out in Kickstarter, they had a deal to add the ultimate bundle of Radlands.
Yeah.
So it's in there somewhere whenever I get Skyrise, which should have been here 3 months ago or so, but 3 or 4 months ago. But when Skyrise shows up, Radlands will be here.
That's cool.
So,
all right. Looking forward to playing it then.
yeah.
All right. My number 7 is a game that's published by La Boîte de Jeux.
Holy moly.
That's some French title, that French company that I probably murdered their name, and I apologize for that. This one has artwork by Vincent Dutrait, so it automatically was a buy for me.
Plus. It automatically gets a plus.
It automatically gets a plus. But this one is called Tribes of the Wind. Tribes of the Wind. And so basically the theme is that you're trying to restore nature after a apocalyptic something or other that has ruined. It's basically society has just trashed nature.
Sure.
And so what you're trying to do now is after that apocalyptic thing, yep, you're trying to go back in and revitalize nature and revitalize this and all that kind of stuff. But so you're trying to rebuild, but you're staying nature specific. And nice. You have this little grid on your board there where you're trying to cover up all of these different things that are spoiling that are spoiling nature and all that other kind of stuff. And it's just a really neat theme. It's a really beautiful game as well.
Rebuilding Chernobyl.
Well,
they could have called it that.
Kind of. But it's got a lot of neat abilities in it where you can move your people around and in such a way, and you move them out to these different spots, and you're trying to build up as many of these square areas of your board as you can. And of course, you're going to score points for all of them. You're going to score points for completed rows and possibly completed columns. And covering up certain spots on your board, you get bonus points for doing that. It's just a really fun game, and it looks great as well. So that's my number 7, Tribes of the Wind.
Anytime you're rebuilding nature, don't you feel bad about getting points for that? And you should just do that for the gratitude of...
No, I don't feel bad.
Self. Okay. All right.
It's coming.
My number 7 As far as I'm concerned, is post-apocalyptic.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
That's a disclaimer,
this
folks.
Might be a disclaimer, but I don't think so. This is a game from Awakened Realms called Tamashi. After the world has been kind of wiped out, now the robots rule, and this robot hive mind called Ascend now rules what's left.
I think the
That's
Terminator
pretty
movies are definitely
post-apocalyptic, right?
Yeah. It works.
So you're running around in this cyberpunk-like devastation, trying to do things, trying to, survive and,
jumping from body to body.
Jumping from body to body. It's got some really cool mechanics in it, but it definitely fits the theme as far as I'm concerned. It's a really cool game, really cool artwork and minis, and pretty darn fun.
I agree. The only reason this one didn't make my list is because I've only played it once.
Yep.
That's the only reason. I really did enjoy this game when we played. We played it live on the Flipside, and we had a good time. We did a couple of things wonky during that playthrough, but generally speaking, it's a good playthrough, and I really enjoyed it. Yes. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So
it's really cool. The more I play it, the more I'm like, oh, I like this.
Yeah. So. Inexperience just kept it off my list.
Yep,
that's all.
yep.
My number 6, the last one of this list. You're going to have to go over to the flip side to see the rest of our top 5s. But number 6 is by a company called Half a Kingdom Games.
Wow.
And this one is called Resurgence.
I knew this would be on
Dan Kordonski is the designer. He's a great designer. And this is a really fun game that has a really cool post-apocalyptic theme to it. But here's the thing. It happens in Russia. And that's one of the cool things about it for me. Because a lot of times, especially here with this Amerocentric view of things, post-apocalyptic stuff happens in New York.
New York, yeah.
Washington, D.C., L.A., maybe San Francisco.
Raccoon City.
I don't know where Raccoon City is. But this one happens in Moscow, dude. And that's one of the cool things about it. It's got really neat artwork in it as well. But basically, you're trying to... It had kind of like an XCOM feel to it to me because you had to build up your base. Yeah. And building up your base gave you more things that you could do with your workers. And then on top of that, the kinds of workers that you got was another cool thing as well because
that was really cool.
Your only certain workers could go to certain spots on the board to do their thing out in the city. So you had to diversify the number of the kinds of workers that you had in your bag. That's another.
It's a bag builder.
Yep,
so
it's a bag
builder.
builder.
Are dumping into your bag,
and that was another cool thing about it as well. So I really enjoyed it. Stan Kordonski is a great designer in my opinion, and this is one of the games that I've really enjoyed. He tends to have pretty heavy. Everything but the kitchen sink games.
Yep.
This isn't necessarily like that. This is on his lighter fare of games, and that's one of the reasons why it's one of my favorite games from him.
Nice.
So that's Resurgence, my number 6.
That's a good pick. Funny enough, in looking at the list on BGG, I was surprised Scythe didn't come up as post-apocalyptic because isn't it post? I mean, it's not on my list.
No, I think it's more. It's like alternate World War II.
Okay.
It's alternate World War II history. Alternate history World War II, I think is what that is.
So then I was looking at Resurgence, then I was thinking...
No, World War One.
How did
World
Scythe
War One
not hit that? Yeah.
But
that's all good. All right, my number 6 is an adorable little game.
Oh, no.
It comes in a tin.
Should the word adorable be used to describe a post-apocalyptic game?
It should be when it's called Fallout Shelter. Because in Fallout Shelter, you got these cute little meeples. For anybody that knows the Fallout series, they have the meeples for all of your different skills, your strength, your intelligence, all these different guys, and they have these cool little sculpts for each of them in there. But you're building your little shelter. You're bringing in new people into your shelter. You're making food. You're making water. You're making power to run everything and get everything done. And it's just a little worker placement engine builder.
Yeah.
At the same time, every round, like monsters are going to come out. You're going to fight rad roaches and
Rad roaches,
and
man.
the moles and all these different creatures that kind of break into. And thematically in the game, you know, when one of those creatures comes out, it blocks a worker placement spot until you can kill it.
This is totally off subject. Do you remember that BMX movie called Rad?
No.
No? Oh,
Rad?
man.
Probably.
Such a...
I don't remember.
It was
probably
it was such a bad movie, but I remember watching that movie so many times.
Huh.
Yeah, it was back in my BMX days. That was funny. Anyway, go
Yeah,
ahead. Carry on.
rad roaches and death claws and all that kind of stuff.
And they're riding BMX bikes
And they're pretty
around.
cool because their cards are clear. So they go on there and you can see the monster, but you can still see your room.
Yeah.
It's just a cute little production.
That's cool.
Really, it's a really fun little game. And it comes in a tin about this big, so.
Comes in a tin?
Yeah.
You
it comes
still
in a
have it?
tin. No.
That's why.
Actually, this is one game, and there are very few games that I sell, and then I'm like, I wish I had it. So there's one game that might come back into my collection, and
There
that
you
doesn't
go.
happen very often.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, that is our bottom five. Sorry,
Yep,
our bottom
bottom
five
five.
games with post-apocalyptic themes on them. So, come back. Well, no, don't come back here. Go to the flip side.
Go to the flip side.
On Monday. Next Friday, you can come right back here and watch the next bottom five. But go on Monday, and you'll see the top five post-apocalyptic games from me and him.
Yep.
So, until then, we'll see you on the flip side, folks.
Take care.
See you later.